the thumbnail, 75 cents, huh? That was supposed to be the plan there. And then the hive came, the movement came and kind of distracted and messed up. No, not messed. It made things entertaining. It messed anything up. It just kind of threw a loop. Um, but I remember that was going to be my shtick with the PC Taxation Act. Kind of like just do my thing off the street. But look, let me say this: Gunner and Renegade, um, locales for sure, but Renegade is untrollable. You might get a sneak diss, so it doesn't. You'd be like Frontline and shit, or like L trying to get Gunner's attention, maybe every now and then because there's different lore there. But Renegade ain't shooting down at nobody, and I don't even know. I think he's aware of certain shit, but it just ain't gonna happen. But not that it's not like doable, right? But it's just that the movement uh, became something new and fresh to make fun of. Um, Gunner is Gunner, man. Gunner is Gunner. Gunner does not have the defense strategy that fucking Renegade does because he's got Dubs. That's his boy. That's why they're 50 cents, and Dubs is going to get trolled because Dubs will react, and that's going to bring Gunner into it. I always said it was interesting to me what would have happened if they ignored Kukui, if they ignored Fernando exposed to. If they would have ignored him, I mean, I don't know where it would be because it didn't happen, so there's no hypotheticals, right? Fucking Dubs was obsessed finding out who this motherfucker was, so much so that he crashed out late last year and then in the winter, right? There was content for everybody. Then we know what happened with the movement. So I remember back then. I do remember back then. Everybody, I was doing my thing, but the movement was hyper focused, and it just caused them to react, which is a perfect example how if they don't respond, they're not as trollable. People get less content. When they respond, it's content for everybody. But I always said, dude, they play the big channel. Well, they are big channels. So they're always going to play the big channel. Smaller channels are trolls. You know what I mean? But Dubs can't help it. And that's why Dubs is trollable. It's all, I told you, man. I came over here, Faber, Oxnard, and everything materialized the way it did, right? But there was always, man, I don't, I'll leave it there, dude. You know what I'm saying? But I just say this: there was always the motherfuckers always knew who specifically he told on. I'll just keep it there. I know that sounds a bit far fetched with the way things were, but there's specifics there that was always known. But even now, there's no proof, right? No paperwork proof of specific. But Dubs tells on himself a lot. You know what I mean? Because you can only do so much content trying to keep away your S and Y years where it's going to bleed over. You know what I mean? And look, man, Gunner, back to Gunner, people been there, done that with all these guys. Well, with Gunner and Dubs, they're trollable. People like to troll them both. And it's like I said, it's regurgitating content, dude. The last few times, I think I forced videos on Gunner and Dubs. That's when I really knew that I was shooting my wad. I had more it was more entertaining for me and more fun to go in on the movement. You know what I mean? Everything had been laid out. There's like, what Slugs did was good. Was good for the people who like to troll Gunner. It's whatever with me. You know what I mean? He was Gunner. Gunner was Gunner before Dubs was Dubs. Gunner went through this before Dubs. I'm from Southern California. Like, I don't remember when I knew Gunner was bad. I think it was during the fake paperwork. But I was all in the comic book community then. I would only tap in every now and then. Everybody that's from Southern California, from my era, which is basically, it's fucking Dubs era, knew nobody was coming home with life sentences unless they went to the other side. We all got S and Y homeboys, okay? I got a bunch of homies that went to prison for the same crime that some of these dudes went life and all that as youngsters, right? Two are still in there. It looks like they don't want to come home, and two other ones said, "I want to come home." It is what it is, man. I mean, we've all known that, so that's why I always knew back then. You know what I mean? Because hey, man, even out there in the streets of L.A., Holmes, and shit like that, dude was talking about level 4. He was talking about legends. He was doing a lot of. It just raised people's attentions. Hey, you seen that dude on YouTube? But since he was from 805, you know what I mean? It took a minute. And then, him being attached to Gunner got people like EBK and others to pull his fucking covers. And then you fast forward now, the work that me and Campolero did on him, what Fernando has done on him, story is told on the internet. He's been debriefed on the internet. To keep doing video after, even for me, who, nah, man, I'm being honest, dude. About a month ago, I struggled to even do videos because I felt it's the same old shit. I got bored of it. That's why, like, I went off camera because I felt like I was saying the same shit over and over again. I shot my wad. I did the impersonations, which were just comedy. What's up, eh? The little Mesita Holmes, that ran its course. The AI with him and Fernando in the same yard ran its course. It all ran its course. And then, going at it with the Hive was more entertaining to me, right? And then I soldiered a little bit too much. I got out of my comfort zone because ain't none of these dudes, ain't no pull-ups out here. And that's when I knew that it was time to pivot, dude. But they were fucking with the homie Google, and we were all in, and Blood of Jesus, and Skylar, everybody, Red, Tax Baby, Lechero, everybody, it was fun, dude. But it's old, man, and I'm good, and I'm good, man. I feel like right now I'm regurgitating, but I just wanted to come out and just do. This is my last video on 50 Cents. Renegade, I had stopped. Fernando replaced that, which helped me out. There's nothing more, dude. I mean, to discover with these guys. There's nothing new. There's nothing fresh. I truly believe they run their own. They run a lot of the narrative. This is why I always back then PC, propaganda, and all that, because they are big enough channels and they get big enough views combined that they can shift narratives, and everybody is like, oh, what are they gonna do? What are they doing now? Oh, look at them. Fuck that. And that's why I, believe it or not, High Power Fitness, Cali Legends Media, mainly those two will stay far away as that off of them as possible. Cali Legends will dog walk him because he does it well, but he does not need to. He's not gonna do like videos every day on all these dudes, only when the moment is right, and I've always respected that. I'm sure there's more, but hey, me, I just choose simply going forward to ignore. The channel it goes where it goes. It won't matter to me. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't even do because I probably was chasing the money, not the views. And now I mathematically know I'm okay. I will always get my $100 minimal, and just to do this every now and then, not every now and then, but to do it and not have that need to like, not do the same content I was doing. It's different. A lot of us are from a certain era of, we're latchkey kids, man. We're what is it, Gen Z? We're Gen X, right? So we're different, right? And I want to tap into that. I want to have different conversations. There's a lot of LA. There's a lot of the Tiger shit, the Tag Banger stuff that I want to do, and there's just a lot of stuff I want to do. And I'd rather do it over here, bro, and get 300 to 500 views and be okay. You know what I mean? Whether you people like it or not, well, not you people, but others that whatever they need, they want to be mentioned by them. When I always said a troll doesn't need to be mentioned, it takes away the power. You know what I mean? I don't seek to be mentioned by certain people, and I think people in this space do. Look at the video that Campoletto did yesterday. That was an excellent video. Motherfuckers out here will smut you up with screenshots and shit. Oh, you were over there. Excellent video by Campoletto. That's something that we would have conversations more or less about. How it was funny. And you know, like the homie he didn't do a lot of time. I didn't do a lot of time, right? But we did our time and we handled ours. You know, I there's stuff on the streets that were more important to me than it was in prison. I just did my time and came home, man. So as you can see, even now, in a way, it's like I ain't got nothing more to clown on these dudes. It's just like I always said I was self-aware, man, and everything has a shelf life. And it's funny, bro, because they've been trolled so much they know that channels have a 1 to 2 year shelf life. And if you look at all pockets of drama in YouTube and trolls that elevate to become a channel, that will be their downfall if they sit there and constantly, you know what I mean? If they have no other content to blend in or mix in with it, you know, it's not going to go well. Slugs, that's why Slugs does his shit well. 2 channels. Slugs will stay on Gunner and Dubs for a minute, but Slugs knows when it's time for something else. He's a good content creator, man, despite him being SNY. You know what I mean? Look at Lacra. Lacra's still sitting there crying 10 years later. They're gonna mind fillet him and shit. You know what I mean? So, how long will the movement last? Trolling, well, J-Cats have different energy. J-Cat energy, bro, is something different. Look, man, the food. Look, back to Dubs. He told on Weddle Sherm, bro. Just if, that's just facts. You know, I've been part of 2 totem poles. If you know what a totem pole is, then you know what a totem pole is. Part of 2. I'll say this. This space is better served really trying to keep people away from the streets, but you got to look at the age group. What's your audience? These people are aged out. I always said, I think this audience and the people that watch, and I'll include myself, we miss, I think, being on the streets every now and then. We miss being in prison. We miss being on that yard, and we miss playing pinochle. I know if I could go back for like half a day just to play pinochle, I probably would, dude. I shit you not. Right? Or, I mean, it's just part of our DNA and our makeup. You know, even the S and Y's, like, you know, and I think people miss it. And I think people miss the streets. Because you age out, so you're not kicking it in the hood. Even multi-generational homies, multi-generational gains, there's a lot of that they miss. And then sometimes they don't even want to go back to the hood because you never know, right? I mean, it's different, man. I think that space, bro, is eventually going to change. It's not going to die out, but it's going to change, you know. And I just want to be doing something else when it changes. And the channel dies out, it dies out, but it's going to die out on my terms. It's not going to die out because I kept trolling these dudes or PC Vu taxation that I ran out of content or people stopped watching. And views are down, dude. Views are down. And it's, I mean, but that's not an excuse. Maybe views are down for certain people in this little bubble because, dude, another, like, hey, man, like they say, another video on Dubs, another video on Gunner, tell your story, tell your story, You know what I mean? You guys see how packs of subscribers move. They move where the uh, narrative fits them. You know what I mean? Um, and again, it's a bunch of people that nobody even knows who they are, man. So with that being said, man, hey man, it's my last video on 50 cents. I ain't even gonna count Renegade. So kind of a long one to say really nothing, to say what I've already said. Um, but you know, Monday begins, we begin anew. So bam bam. Not the relentless. I changed my name again. Fuck. All right, man, I'm out.